with me, helping me to do this, you know, I sure in the heck wouldn't know what I was doing. So, I'm glad you guys are know what you're doing.
Destiny and crew, you guys have lights in back of you. So I don't know if you can turn around and put the light in front of you to get a good light on your face, maybe. Yeah, there we go, crew. That's Destiny, that's better. Crew, how about you? True, yeah. You get kind of backlit, the room is lit, so there we go. That's better.
Okay. You ready to go here, Mr. Mac?
Yes.
All right. Going live here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live.
I'm Al McFarland. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarland. This is our Thursday edition, and we're pleased today to talk to some young people about their successes, to honor them, to acknowledge them. And the vehicle for doing that is the Winfield Student Athlete Award for 2020. I'm pleased to have co-hosting here the guy that runs the program, that makes it happen, Steve Winfield. And Steve and I have invited a number of this year's awardees to join the program, to give them props, give them praise for being the successful young leaders that they are, and to share their stories with you. So in the next hour, we're going to have you meet and hear from Destiny Azonru, Amanye Reynolds, Ari Walker, Noah Rice, Katru Mu, Curtis Jones, Sydney Jackson, Nevea St. Clair Lamb, Andrew Brownell, and Mia Bishop. I think that's the group. Also Shakira Willis. I think they're all here. And if they're not here, we'll get with them later on. But first and foremost, we want to thank all of you young people for the dedication you've shown, both athletic achievement and scholastic achievement. And congratulations for being selected to be a Winfield Student Athlete Award recipient for 2020. Steve Winfield, brother, how you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm doing great, doing great.
Well, let's do the background, first of all. Thanks to you, thanks to your family. Talk about the background of the Winfield Awards. And let me ask everybody to mute their microphone if they're not actually talking right now. Thank you. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm pleased. I'm like you. I'm honored to see this great group of young people here today. With so many crazy things going on in the world, sometimes this is just a reminder of that we have hope and we have some great vision for the future. And anytime I see these young people, and sorry I didn't get a chance to see all of you in person, because if we'd have been having the banquet, then I would have seen how good you look. You'd be all dressed up and everything. And, but I'm glad to get to see you this way. Years ago, about 44 years ago, there were some community people, and there's Frank White, Al Nunes, Alex Rao, Roxanne Givens, me, my mother. We talked about there are a lot of young people, a lot of kids in our community, and a lot of the kids of color who weren't really getting much recognition. And so talked to my brother, Dave Winfield, and we talked about can we do something to recognize these young people who've been taking care of some business, and not only academically, but athletically, and doing some things in the community also. And so we started out having, instead of recognizing one boy or one girl, we said, hey, let's have 10 families. So we have 5 boys and 5 girls, and then we start recognizing them. We started out down the Martin Luther King gym in St. Paul, and then we moved to the Midway Sheridan, and and now we're, downtown. I think it's called the Crown Plaza or something. The hotels changed names a number of times, but and so we've been doing it, and the main thing we really wanted kids to get some recognition, and now a lot of our kids get more recognition than used to, but these young people, they don't realize that recognition was sparse back in 40 years ago. That means I was just a wee young kid back then, but anyway, so we started doing it, and there have been a lot of great young people who have come through. In fact, we even have second generation. Hold on. Turn that off. Sorry about that. But we've had, a young man, Rosario, last name, and his dad was one of our original people that came through. And then we've got Stacy Robinson, who was, St. Paul kid, and played pro football. He's Central High graduate and played for the Giants. Had a Super Bowl ring. Stacy passed away of cancer, but the field down at Jimmy Lee is named after him, Stacy Robinson Field. And also had Ryan Harris, who's a Cretan kid who went to Notre Dame, and he played, and he was in Denver, and he was able to get a Super Bowl ring also. But we have other people who have turned out to, well, we've got a young man who happens to be mayor of St. Paul, Melvin Carter Jr. And, he was one of our awardees also. And, in some families, just that Jackson family, as Sydney, I know the mother loves bragging rights and things, but she's the third child in the family to be recognized and, for doing great things. And so, again, that's three Jacksons in there, but all of these young people are, great. All of you have done some things. And I know, Al, we looked at their GPAs, and I don't know about you, but some of them are, off the map. I don't know how they did it, because I know I can't speak totally for you, but I know I never saw any grade point averages like most of these young people have. So, I'm just very
I'm
proud of
looking at
all
the
of them.
GPAs now, and I'm seeing 3.81, 3.73, 3.9, 3.53, 3.46, high GPAs. Excellent, wonderful, amazing.
Yeah, tremendous. So, again, I want to just say to all of you, really, I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm sure your parents are, and the community is, and we need for, we need people like you. We need our young people to step forward and do some things. I know you're still developing and you're still growing in life, but there's always room for you to be able to do some things. We need you. The community needs you right now. And it's when some of you might have been out there marching, and that's a good thing. But now we need you to do some constructive things, even at your age. If it means mentoring or taking a young person, whether it's in your family or next door neighbor, we need you to do some things. And some of you are old enough to vote, get ready to vote. Make sure you register to vote. Nationally and locally, need you to do some constructive things. So I gotta say that, I gotta tell you that. Some of us who are old enough who have been there, and we've marched and still do march and things like that, but we have to do things beyond just marching. We gotta do some positive things to help others out. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth right there, Al, and let's let the young people talk.
Well, before we do that, I do see Beth Jackson is here. Why don't you introduce Beth Jackson? Put her on the spot as a parent. You mentioned that she has 3 Jacksons that have been recipients of the award out of her family. Beth, good morning and how are you? And unmute your mic if you would. First of all, good morning and thank you for being the parent that you are. Talk about the family members in your family that have received the awards, first of all. What's it mean to you as a parent?
It means a lot. Frank's on here too. He just joined us on his break from work.
So mom and dad are both here, right?
And then Max just got let in too. So he's
Okay.
a former recipient. And I don't want to take any credit for the great things our kids have done, because I think the village has been so much more important, including people like Steve and Frank White. And we just have to give it up to community. And I think I'm sad that the kids here didn't get to go to a dinner this year. I told someone today the first Sunday in June is always my favorite, because when Steve and his committee honor these kids, it's so humbling, and you guys have so much to be proud of. And I don't want to take up any more of the time here, because I think the light should be shined on these kids.
Well, before I do, Frank, I want to thank you for being here as well. I want you to say something, if you would, about why it's important that we as adults honor and applaud these young leaders. What do you think, Frank?
I think it's really important that these kids realize that they're part of something that's been going on for a long time, and that they're part of a community and a village that they're gonna hopefully come back and
We
contribute.
can't hear you really. You have to be closer to your microphone, and somebody has to mute, maybe.
I just think that I'm outside, so it's a little windy out here.
That's probably it.
Can you hear me yet?
We do hear you.
Oh, I just think it's important for these the kids to realize that they're part of something bigger. They're part of a community, a village, and that they, when they attach their names to this, or their names are involved in the Winfield, or brought up along with the Winfield Award, that they realize that they can do big things, and and hopefully that they can come back and contribute and give back to the community. I think that's part of the reason that they got chosen for this award, because they, it's a big opportunity for them to give back. That's about all I have. I'm really proud. I'd like to thank the Winfield Foundation for my kids and for these kids. Like Beth said, it's unfortunate that they.
The wind is really a challenge. The wind is really making it difficult to hear you. So,
all right, I'll go off and just say thanks a lot.
Okay. All right, thanks. I'm Al McFarland. This is Conversations with Al McFarland, special program today. We are talking to the honorees of the Winfield Student Athletic Award for 2020. So what we'll do for the rest of the program is actually introduce and interview the awardees that are present. All of them couldn't be here, but many are. And I'm going to just go down the list and ask each to introduce themselves and talk about what they do in athletics, what they do in academics, what they do in community, and kind of how they feel right now about what their contribution has been and can be for community, for family, and for society. And I'm saying to them, don't feel any pressure. It's what's on your mind, and know that the questions I raise come from a spirit of genuine appreciation of you, admiration of you. You all deserve the highest praise, and that's our goal today, is to simply provide that to you. So I'm going to start with Amanya Reynolds. Amanya, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
So introduce yourself. Just take about 2 minutes altogether and give me the story about your athletics, your family, and your hopes for college and beyond.
Yeah, so I'm a graduating senior from Harding High School this year. As far as academics, I've always taken that pretty seriously. I'm graduating as the top 10 in my class out of 367. So I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. I've chosen to go to Macalester College in St. Paul this upcoming fall. So I'm excited. I'll be staying in this Twin Cities, so hopefully I can get more involved with giving back to the community, and I'm really excited to be continuing my education in the cities here. I play tennis and softball. I've been playing tennis for the longest time. And I started playing with a nonprofit in St. Paul called St. Paul Urban Tennis. So yeah, that's really where I started my love for tennis. And I've been playing for Harding since 7th grade. And this year I became the first female tennis player to make it to the state tournament in Harding's history. So that was a really exciting moment for me. I think I've been wanting to make it to state for a long time. So making it in singles this year was a pretty big highlight of my senior year. Yeah, and as far as like getting involved with the community, I really think like all the activism with the death of George Floyd, it really warms my heart when I see my peers and young people my age taking these things seriously and taking a stand. I know a lot of my peers have been signing petitions, trying to donate, and doing what they can. So I feel like the community is really coming together, and I'm really glad to see that. And I'm excited to give back how I can in the coming years and hopefully use my education to uplift others.
What's your intended major at Macalester?
I'm considering political science, and possibly that could lead to maybe law school or perhaps something with government, but I'm not completely set on anything, so may change, but I think that's kind of what I'm thinking for now.
Am I looking at a city council member or a mayor or a governor or a president?
That would be awesome. Maybe.
Listen, congratulations. It's so wonderful to hear your story. Let me turn now to Noah Rice. Noah, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Congratulations again. Tell your story. Introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so I'm also a graduating senior, St. Paul Academy. I do swimming all year round. I started maybe when I was 8, although I was probably in swim lessons when I was 3 months old. So I've just been doing that my whole life. But I was always doing club swimming, and I've just doing it year round. I got to go to some amazing big national meets for Team Minnesota. But then when I came to high school, it was really amazing because I kind of refound a joy in the sport. I know when you do one sport your whole life, it can kind of bog you down over the years. But switching over teams to my high school team was really helpful. We're also a co-op with Highland Park. So getting to make some cross connections across those schools was great. I have a lot of friends from over there. In terms of academics, I've really liked SBA. It's been a great place to explore my academic interests and grow. Currently, I'm really interested in a lot of the history and thinking about taking that into college next year. I'm going to be going to Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And I'm going to be studying art history up there, so I'm really excited about that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what do you want to do career-wise? What do you think, what are your options as you see it right now?
Yeah, right now, I think with all the things that are happening in the world, and especially with the death of George Floyd, I've been really inspired to think about civil rights law after college.
Okay, great. And to what end? How would you use a career training in law to affect change in civil rights? What's in your mind?
Yeah, I think that lawyers and just like in law, they have a lot of power just given their education and their status in society. So being able to really utilize a good education in civil rights law and a practice in civil rights law, and then think about how I can positively affect my like local community. Thinking about what my work can make change in kind of my world locally, but also kind of on a national level.
I'm Al McFarland. This is Conversations with Al McFarland. Our special edition today is in conjunction with the Winfield Student Athletic Awards for 2020, co-hosting with Steve Winfield, praising the Winfield family, Steve, you and Dave and your mom and family and community, who over the years have seen fit to add an extra opportunity to recognize and elevate the academic and athletic achievements of students in our families in our community. So thank you again. And what we're doing now is sort of just going and talking to some of the scholars and athletes that were available to be on the program today. We are presenting this live on Facebook and live on YouTube. And if you like this kind of information, we ask you to like it, to share, let the world know that we're having this discussion right now. Conversations with Al McFarland, our forte, we called it creating robust conversations. And I believe we're delivering on that value proposition right now. I'm going to continue by asking Curtis Jones to come on. And Curtis, congratulations. Thank you for being here. Introduce yourself and talk about your accomplishments and your vision for yourself in the future.
Appreciate it. I'm Curtis Jones. I graduated from Cretin-Derham Hall. Played basketball there, football my last year, so I actually had Coach Jackson as a coach. But yeah, graduated with a 3.5. Was proud of that. My mom was always pushing me, so I give credit to her for that. Next year, I'm playing basketball at Indian Hills Community College, a pretty good JUCO, full scholarship there. So proud of that. I'm just doing general studies next year. I don't really know what I want to major in yet, but as far as in the community, that kind of hit home because I'm from Minneapolis. I grew up there. I actually went to Minneapolis South High School in my first 2 years. Mm-hmm. So really that day, we was playing basketball at Phelps Park, which is a block away. So it was just crazy. So I've been at that protest a few times actually because we went to that store a lot just growing up in that neighborhood. So yeah.
So it's personal to you. You were on that, in the neighborhood, and you were there that day. You said, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was down the block, like literally. So Phelps is on 39. It happened on 38. It's just crazy because that could have been any of us playing basketball that day. I had a lot of friends there. It just affected the whole community.
What do you think Curtis Jones has to come out of this in a year 2, 5, 10? What are young people saying, and what are your expectations for change, both in Minneapolis and also in the world? What do you think?
I think the changes needs to be like, we can't be scared like to come out and just be outside and have conversations with the cops, because I mean that's how it seems to be right now, especially with things getting televised. It seems like it's getting worse, but I hope it can get better within the next years to come. Hopefully sooner than that, months, weeks, days, it could get better.
Curtis Jones, thank you. Let me turn now to Maya Bishop. Maya, good morning. How are you? Please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers.
Hi, my name is Maya Bishop. I am graduating from Highland Park this year. I guess for sports, I did.
Can you lean into your microphone a little bit?
Yeah,
more,
sorry.
More voice. Okay, great. Thank you.
I graduated from, I started gymnastics when I was 7, and I've been doing it all the way up until my senior year in high school. This year, we actually went to state, and it was the first time for actually any school in St. Paul to make it there. So that was probably one of the biggest accomplishments I've ever made for myself and for my team. I only started track my freshman year of high school, but I made fifth at sections last year, so I'm pretty proud of myself for doing that as well. And I'm also proud of my 4x1 team for doing that with me. I couldn't have done it without them. For academics, I am going to Augsburg for next year and moving on with college. I'm planning on majoring in education to become a history major or a social studies major. Especially with everything going on right now, I'm really excited to teach kids about this in my career. And yeah.
Steve Winfield, I see you nodding your head. What are you thinking as you hear these powerful and wonderful stories from these superb young people? What do you think?
Well, I'm a pretty positive person, and I like hearing people talk about solutions in terms of, it's one thing as, you know, venting and being angry about a lot of things, and it's more than just about Mr. Floyd and things, and unfortunate, you know, what went on there and some other places with other people in the country. But there are issues on top of that. It's not just about law enforcement, which we have to hold law enforcement, responsible for things, but we also have to hold our education system. We got to hold them, make them responsible for what they're supposed to be doing. We have to, same thing with our community, the people in our community. We can't give them a pass. Everybody is supposed to be responsible and take care of business. And especially now, and as my wife Robin would say, for such a time as this, we need to be doing things. And when I hear these young people have that new young energy in them, talk about, well, I want to do this, well, I want to try to help this way, I want to try to help that way. That just means a lot to me. It just makes me nod. It makes me smile. It gives me hope. And I think our community needs hope. I think that's very important. And so when we hear from these young people, that means everything. So
well,
you guys keep talking, keep throwing it out there.
Let's continue, Steve. Next, Katru Moo. Katru, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
So jump right in. Just introduce yourself to our Facebook and YouTube audiences, and talk about your athletic and academic career.
My name is Katru, and I go to Como Senior High School. Graduate this year, and I play soccer throughout my high school year. I really enjoy playing soccer. It really helped me focus. Like, that's where whenever I have a problem, that's where I go. I will always play by myself or with a friend. Yeah. And with soccer, I have this ability that I can also show other people how to play soccer with it. Yeah, I really enjoy playing soccer, and I did volunteer with a soccer star, or where there's a little kid come out and play soccer and learn. Like, they really had fun and really make me happy to volunteer and like help they enjoy play soccer. Yeah. And
what are your plans beyond high school?
Beyond high school, I was thinking of playing, but I'm not sure. Even my coach recommended me to play soccer, but for me, I think I'm a not stop playing, but I'm not gonna play in like throughout like my college career stuff. I'm into mechanic stuff, and yeah, so I won't be able to play.
Okay. So you're into mechanics, you said?
Yeah, like like a car stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
car, like, so it's something that I really want to do. As yeah, I really like how car, transportation works, and it really fascinated me. Yeah.
Great, great. Let's go now to Sydney Jackson. Sydney, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. I recently graduated from Cretin-Derham Hall, class of 2020. I played basketball and ran track. I also, my 8th grade year, I played basketball at Como High School. And then I decided for academics to go to Cretin-Derham Hall, and I guess also athletics. Regarding sports, I had a pretty successful career, I guess you could say. In high school, I graduated with a cumulative GPA of 4.2. I will be continuing my track and field career on a merit and athletic scholarship at Concordia St. Paul. So I'll be staying pretty close to home. Regarding the social issues going on around my community, especially right now, I've seen firsthand what is going on. I live in the Midway, so a lot of stuff was going on around my house. So it was a pretty scary time for a little bit a couple weeks ago. But my sister, Gabrielle Jackson, she also received the Winfield Award along with my brother. But my sister has been raising money to feed firefighters and paramedics and other first responders during this time, and also the community. So she's raised thousands of dollars. So I've been helping her deliver meals and such. And I feel like that is my way of helping during this time. I'm not into really getting into the front lines of things. So I felt good doing that for my community.
Let me say on behalf of my generation to you in particular, but to all of you, thank you. You don't know how encouraging it is and how inspiring it is for us to see you sort of approach the world with integrity and with dignity and with compassion and with an attitude that you can do things, that you can make things happen, and that your voice does matter. And that is simply wonderful to see. So Sydney, I want to thank you and all of your colleagues. You all are, I believe, poised to make significant and important change in the world. And so thanks again. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me go to Neva. Neva, good morning. How are you? And would you introduce yourself? Let's see, Neva, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Nevaeh. It's Nevaeh.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you, Nevaeh.
Yeah.
Let me say Nevaeh Sangster Lamb.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated from Johnson High School on the east side. I played volleyball, I ran track, and I also was in gymnastics. I started gymnastics my sophomore year. It was something I really didn't enjoy. Like my freshman year, I was going to join gymnastics, but I was like not sure. But some friends and coaches got me to the point where I should have joined. So I joined sophomore, junior, and senior year. Volleyball, this past fall, I was on the varsity team, and we won first place for the championship for St. Paul, which was a big deal. Also, for track, this year I didn't get to run track because of COVID, and it was kind of upsetting to me because it was my senior year, but sophomore, freshman, and even 8th grade, I ran track. I ran track at Farnsworth, right down the street from Johnson. So I've been doing track a long time. I ran a 4x1 and a 4x2, and I also ran a 200-meter dash. So track was probably my favorite sport of all time. So yeah, for academics, I'm planning on going to St. Paul College and doing my generals. I plan on doing a nursing career. I'm really into nursing. And even like with all the COVID stuff going on, I feel like it really pushes me and challenges me to want to be a nurse because of, I love helping people and I like talking to people. So I think it just pushes me and challenges me more to do that. And follow, my grandma was also a nurse. She, for a long time, she worked at United Hospital in St. Paul. So that really challenged me also to want to be a nurse as well. And also like going on in the community, I also live in the Midway area. So it's been really kind of hard to hear about some of the, looting going on and the violence, but also the protesting as well. I do support the protesting, the peaceful protesting. So it was a big thing to see all the stuff on social media and even like in my neighborhood, like with my eyes, all the amazing things that have been happening. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. Let me turn now to Brother Destiny Ozanwu. Am I saying that properly, Destiny?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you say it for me. Let me hear you say it.
Destiny Azawu. The N
Ozawu.
is kind of silent, yeah.
Okay, great. Good morning. Tell your story. Introduce yourself, please, Destiny.
My name is Destiny Azawu. I'm actually from Nigeria. I lived there for 7 years, even though I was born here. My parents sent me there for some education and to learn my culture and all that. Yeah, so I came back here in 2015 to continue with high school. At that point, I wasn't really familiar with the learning system here. Is really different from how it is back then in Africa. Back there, they graduate at 16, and here it's 18. So I was really surprised, but there were tough times over there, but I still came through. So throughout my years in high school, I've been as an athlete. I played soccer my freshman year, till my football coach saw me and wanted me to be a part of the football program. So I tried that out and began to love the sport, fall in love with it, and it became my favorite sport. So since then I've always been pushing harder to become better at the sport. I also did wrestling for 2 years, and I've been doing track since my freshman year, but I'm sad I didn't get to do it the senior year. So yeah, but my strength is mainly in football. I've won many awards, including the Stacey Robinson. I just won that award, and I'm really proud that I won it. So yeah, is all these, they really have like had a lot of big achievements from football. I just also won the defensive player of the year for our district, and also was an all district player. So I'm really proud of how far I've come with that sport. I've also gained all conference awards from on track, and I've placed sectionals for wrestling too. So yeah, I'm really proud of all those achievements. Academically, I'm a 3.81 average, GPA average. I'm still waiting for them to put in the final quarter grades to see if that's gonna go up, because I think I did pretty good during this distance learning because of the COVID. So I'm pretty proud of myself with everything I'm doing. I also plan to study computer science at the U of Minnesota, University of Minnesota in Twin Cities. And hopefully I could try out for the football team there as a walk-on. So yeah.
I'm impressed. Thank you so much, Brother Destiny. What part of Nigeria is your family from?
We're from the eastern part, like around, we're from Imo State. It's down towards the south, like the southern eastern part of Nigeria.
Is it
so we're part of the
Igbo land or Yoruba land?
Yeah, Igbo land.
You will end. Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, good to meet you. I asked that. I used DNA and discovered that I'm 99% Yoruba, though I was born
Oh wow.
here, right? So I have this feeling for Nigeria, and it's a wonderful thing. So let me go to Andrew Brown. Is it Brownell, Andrew?
Yeah, Brownell. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, and thank you for being here. Congratulations, Andrew. Tell your story, if you don't mind, if you would.
So I just graduated from St. Agnes High School, and I graduated with a 3.76 GPA, and also received my school's Palm Award. So a little explanation on what that is. So every year my school chooses one guy and one girl to which they think best embodies what they want the students at our school to be. So I won that. And then as for sports, I played football, basketball, and ran track all 4 years of high school. And then for football and basketball, I was made captain for both of those. And then for other extracurriculars, I also was the vice president of the National Honor Society at our school and a member of our school's pro-life club.
I'm impressed. Steve Winfield, I see you beaming in your corner of the screen. You got to be proud. And, your smile is deep and genuine. Jump in here. We kind of completed our list of students, I believe, that are on the call today. But feedback, what's your impression again?
Well, I think the young people did such a great job of talking about it. I'm sure like Beth, Frank, and, we're just sitting here, we're all beaming, because proud of these young people, because too often the news and if any of you end up going into media, it's important that you, as you watch TV and you see the different things and you can tell what kind of narrative is out there, because there are some channels or some places that are very negative. They keep showing the negative things. They show a fire burning. And like you said, and I live close, I'm in the Midway area too. And like some of you were saying that, that was kind of unnerving, kind of scary and things. But the very next day, one of the positive things, and one of the things that give us hope is the fact that there were people down there the very next day with brooms and dustpans and things and helping to clean up the place. People didn't even live around there and things, and the people who are helping to bring food and do different things. Those are more the things that we need to see. And I think it's so important and to see that, and that helps all of us have hope. And again, I'll just say this real quick, that whole thing about, I was fumbling for the word, but accountability, that we all need to be accountable for not only the things we do, but the people around us. If we have some friends that are, off track and doing some crazy things or saying some crazy things, sometimes we have to have the courage to step up and say something. And I say that to anybody who happens to be listening to all these young people talking about some good things, but us as adults, we can't just sit back. We have to be positive. We have to be progressive in terms of, doing some things ourselves, even if we think it's a little thing, but sometimes just giving a little bit of yourself, a little bit of your time, a little bit of your resources, that can be so important. And spend some time around your school, if your kid's in school, and even all of you get a chance to come back to your school and, and see some of the young people. You don't know how a lot of times people are looking up to you, and that's so important for you to realize and understand. And anyway, but I say I'm very proud of all of you and, and all our volunteers and Bev and Linda and everybody who's on the committee and who's been on the committee in the past, just giving all kinds of credit to people who donate and buy ads and, do little things and big things for the
Give your
people.
sponsors some recognition, if you don't mind, Steve. I think it's worthwhile saying the
I'd
name.
have to, have I pulled out the book and have read, but all the way from the big sponsors like the, Minnesota Twins and, down to the, the little mom and pop places, whether it's George's Shoes or Mama's Pizza or whoever who, buy a little ad in the book, and there's just in the past community people who support it and just come every year to the banquet and make little donations, at church and, just on and on. So never think that what you can do is too small, young people. I'm just telling you that any little thing you do is very important.
Let me finish up. We've got about 8 minutes to go. I want to go through the students one more time and have some fun with you. So I'm going to ask you to think back when you were like 5 years old, and how did the world look? What were your dreams and expectations then? And think about where you are today in 2020, and have things materialized the way you envisioned? Question number one. Question number two is, where you are now, what do you project, envision for 20 years from now? So you have to do that all within 1 minute. I'm going to start with Sydney. Sydney, what are your thoughts?
Growing up, I guess the most profound memories I have were when I was running around my brother and sister's athletic events like baseball games, football games, gymnastics gyms. I always envisioned myself being like them. And I think I've lived up to my little 5-year-old expectations pretty well. I think if I were to look up to myself as a little girl, I would be very proud and excited to be that person. So I have to thank my brother and sister for that, for giving me something to look up to.
20 years from now, look at
20 years from now, I hope to be a nurse, be a midwife, change the dynamic of colored women in the healthcare system. I also want to be a coach, a track coach, maybe eventually, and be a strong woman figure in some kid's life like I have in my life. So yeah.
Fantastic. Destiny, same question. 5-year-old Destiny, and now, what did you envision as a 5-year-old? What were your dreams, and how does that match up to where you are right now? What's going to be the world that you have helped create 20 years from now?
As a kid, as a 5-year-old, I always thought about being an actor because I watched a lot of movies and cartoons, and I like making people laugh, so very comical in nature. But I guess over time, I found a different path, and now find more interest in playing athletics. And I really think that the 5-year-old Destiny will be very proud of who he is today because of all the achievements, accomplishments, how strong he's been staying through ups and downs right now. So I think he'll be very proud. In 20 years from now, I see myself being a football player and a computer or software engineer. So I'm really fighting towards those two goals of mine. Yeah.
Great. Katru, same question. 5-year-old Katru, what was your dream state, and how does that compare to where you are now? 20 years from now, what will the world be like with you at the center of it?
5 years, Katru. I was born in a Thailand refugee camp, so I really do have like a lot of opportunity as a kid, and just a child, play around with dirt, play around, shower in river. Yeah. 20 years from now, I want to make my parents proud and take care of them, and also become a mechanic, and yeah, still continue to play soccer like with friends stuff.
Great, thank you. Andrew, same questions.
So 5-year-old me, I would say I really wanted to be a professional football player, but just because I was so inspired by what I saw on the TV and inspired by like all the different football players that I looked up to. But as I've gotten older, I've started to see kind of like the people that I look up to and my inspirations kind of shift. And now I'm planning on going into medicine, and I just really want to do something that can help me like make a change in this world and like help others, especially in like today's world, as I'm pretty sure someone said before, but there's so much negativity, and I just want to be able to like spread some positivity to others and share that.
Well, let me be among the first to call you Dr. Brunell. I'm so glad to hear you say that. And, you all of you are so confident. I can tell you, I'm sure that the Jacksons and the Winfields agree with me. You can do anything, whatever it is you desire. We know that you're going to do that and that you will meet and exceed our expectations and even your own. So let's go up to Nevaeh. Nevaeh, correct?
Yeah, Nevaeh.
Okay, great. So 5-year-old Nevaeh, what was the dream? What did you think? And then looking back, how do you compare? And what's the future? You're going to be a nurse. What's the future for you?
So when I was 5 years old, I didn't have like a vivid, like, career, what I wanted to do. So maybe till I'm like 6 or 7. So I wanted to back then be like in criminal justice or like, be like a forensics kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I still do enjoy like science and stuff like that. So looking back to my 5-year-old self, me wanting to do nursing kind of ties in with the science and stuff like that. So I'm glad that I'm doing that. And I specifically for nursing want to be a OBGYN nurse and working with, newborn babies and children. I really enjoy, I babysit. So that's where that starts from. I enjoy kids of all ages. So let's see, 2020, 20 years from now. I definitely want to see more positivity, as of what the last person said. There's a lot of negativity in this world, and I feel like especially our generation is like ridiculous, like when it comes to just social media and just the way that they treat others. I feel like it needs to be changed, and I feel like we can change that within 20 years. And also me being a nurse in 20 years, I hope that can change, just making it better for other nurses, or even just being able to have someone look up to me as a nurse.
Wonderful. Maya Bishop, your turn.
So when I was younger, I really didn't take gymnastics seriously at all. So it was never supposed to be anything like big or anything that I really continued with. And so I'd say like my younger self is really proud of like everything that I've even accomplished, because I definitely did not know that it was even possible to do anything, or did I know that like I could, like that people can even reach those types of goals. 20 years from now, I am just excited to start my career and hopefully be in my career by then, and to help out kids that are less fortunate than I am, and help them get opportunities that they can get, so that they can help themselves out and make a better future for themselves. And also like build relationships with my like students that I'll be able to teach, because my teachers did that for me. So I'm excited to do that for them as well.
That's wonderful. Curtis Jones, jump in, Brother Curtis.
Oh yeah, 5-year-old me. I actually wanted to be a baseball player back then, but as I got older, that turned into basketball. So I'll be proud of myself being able to play a sport I love in college for free, and then get an education that will help me in the future as well. It doesn't really get better than that. For me, in 20 years, I hope I'm just happy in life, got a good career, hopefully started a family by then, and just maybe be a coach or something to kids, because coaches really helped me a lot coming up. And coaches mean a lot to kids. I know that because my coaches meant a lot to me.
That's wonderful. Noah, jump in, please.
Yeah, 5-year-old me, maybe a little younger, I wanted to be a target security guard. But now I'm really thinking about a career in law, so it's changed a bit there. But I hope that 20 years from now for me that I'm doing something that I really enjoy and something that helps my local community. I've always kind of felt a calling to serve in my local community, so I hope that I'm able to do that in my career.
Great, thank you, Noah. So our final reflection will come from Amanya Reynolds. Amanya, you started this, right? So you're going to be wrapping it up as well.
Yeah. I think 5-year-old me always loved playing sports. So I think that she would be proud that I continued with sports and that I'm going to play sports in college. In 20 years, what I'm hoping is that I can, like, as I said earlier, I'm considering government or law, but also athletics has been a big part of growing up for me. And there is a lack of female representation as far as like coaches and in the athletic world. And I think that there needs to be more people of color and minorities who are role models for kids, especially with the sport of tennis. It's a very white dominated sport. You don't see that many people of color. So I'm hoping that I can stay connected with tennis in the future and encourage other females to get involved and people of color, and hopefully just trying to close the disparity gaps in communities.
Listen, I've had the most wonderful hour meeting all of you, listening to you. Steve, I want to thank you and the Winfield Foundation for giving Inside News and McFarland Media and Conversations with Al McFarland the chance to have this rich, robust conversation. Thank you so much, Steve. And to the Jackson family, I address you representing all of the moms and dads of these wonderful, wonderful, magnificent human beings. Just props to you so much, just respect to you as families, taking care and taking on the responsibility of stewardship, of leadership, of parenting. It's significant, and you represent the best. So thank you so much. Finally, to the young people, I can't tell you how impressed I am, and I need you to believe me. You are impressive. You are important, and what you represent, what you have done, what you are doing, what you envision for the future is going to be the future for our planet. So I just invite you to take yourself seriously. Not too seriously, where you've been out of shape, but know that what you feel and what you know about yourself is real and it's valuable, and that what you are bringing to the table is something that the world is waiting for. So trust yourselves, and I trust you, and I thank you so much. Steve, final word. We got about 2 minutes.
I don't know. You've said it all. I would say this, that again, actions speak louder than words. There's a lot of people who have a lot of rhetoric, but in terms of what you do does make a big difference. And not only you young people in terms of what you do, but again, like I said, any of the adults that are out there listening, and there are people with, whether they have small businesses or they're just a community person, or there's someone as big as like Spire Credit Union, you see the guy on TV talking about a lot of different things, but there's one of the companies again, and we have a lot of people that help out, but they put their money where their mouth is, and I can appreciate that. And so any of the community people that are doing something, any little thing, I just can't emphasize it enough. It's important. And the young man who mentioned something about law enforcement, it's absolutely important that if that's what you want to do, then you do that. because we need good people in all different areas, you know, so it's like we can't blame the ills of society on law enforcement, you know, it's in all areas. We talk about justice and things being better. It's every last area out there. So keep your eyes and your mind open to see these different things, and don't get caught up looking at one thing or one bad thing, because there's good people in all professions, you know, and there's some crazy ones and different ones too, you know, but look for the good. That's it, Al. That's
it.
for
Well,
me.
listen, that's it too. That's it for me. Thank you all. Thank you so very much, and continued success. And to my listeners, viewers, join us again tomorrow at noon. We're talking to physicians, healthcare providers, our affiliation with the Minnesota chapter of the National Medical Association, where we're discussing COVID-19, discussing justice, discussing health and wellness, and the business of health in our community. We'll see you. Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.